doing a quick recording. All right, so I've given you a folder basically called assignment, because I'm creative in my naming. I should have named that a little bit differently, but basically in that folder, I'm going to actually show you what's in the folder. Basically, I have a folder with 2 images in it. Go get more images. Yeah, I needed to give you something to have something. So, hooray, Minecraft. I have not seen the film. Don't tell me. No spoilers, please. Yeah, I heard there's a new Jack Black song. That's the only thing I know about the film.
I don't know whether or not I want to see the movie, honestly.
I probably will go see it at some point, because I would like to see something in the theater. But anyways, you've got two. So basically, you've got 2 images in an image folder. You've got 2 index pages. I'm sorry, not 2 index. You've got 2 HTML pages, an index, and then a page, basically a page 2, and then you have a style.css. All right, both of these HTML files. So if we look at them, I'll bring up. We can actually go open this as Phoenix Code. Here's the whole project. If you look in here, basically page 2 has a title of page 2, and it links to the style sheet. And I've got page 1 already set up as index page, and it links to the style sheet. Nothing else. It's basically an HTML page, but there's nothing else there. And that's intentional. It's intended to this structure to be set up so that you don't. So I don't have to worry about did you link to the index page? To the style sheet. So that's the one thing. If we go to the style sheet itself, it's empty. So that's it's 2 blank pages in the style sheet that it links to that you will eventually write to. 2 images, and then there's a text document. And this is where basically it's telling you what you need to do in each of the files. There's what basically, hey, add an image from the image folder, set the height to 64. Add a link to page 2. So I'm actually going to write this right now in the index page. So what they're asking for here is the anchor tag, and I'm not sure we've gone over it. We may have gone over it a couple times, but basically it's the A tag. A, and then you want a href is what you want to assign to, and it's basically going to be to page 2. And then we will close it. If we go back to the assignment again, basically it says go to page 2, and obviously do not include the quotes. So we'll go back to the index page, and we'll drop in. Go to page 2 in here, and you can see, here we go, my live. Here is my tag. And I'm just going to go in here. I'm going to do an H1. And I probably should have put this on the assignment, but this is just index page. And I'm just going to grab this. I'm going to go to page 2. And I'll put in page 2. The obvious thing that you would do here, again, in the assignment, basically the next thing that you would do in page 2 is actually link back to the index page. So basically this is just showing you, hey, you can jump between these 2 pages. They're linked back and forth appropriately, and they're relative to the folder that they're in. And that's one of the things, is that everything you're going to do is going to be relative to this folder. And it's a simple structure right now, because we're basically building a simple website. So it's all basically this folder and then one other folder underneath. Let's go through the HTML assignment. So in page 1, basically, you've got set an image, set the height to 64, add a link, go to page 2. Use the span tag and use an ID and I want you to use an ID for this code block. Now, I haven't talked about the span tag, and I was thinking it was in a video earlier, I thought it was the EM tag, and I got that wrong. So let's just go over this quickly. I'm just going to put, and for obvious reasons, use BRs, horizontal lines as you see fit to make things easier to look, get the look you want. Span. All right. So we've talked about the div tag previously. So div is a block. It basically says this is a block of what in that page. Span basically instead is intended to be in line with things. So I'm just trying to think of a sentence at the moment. Let me just grab this 1 second. There we go. So I'm going to put in the span. I'm going to put I'm going to do this outside of the span for 1 sec. So here we've got the sentence. The quick brown fox runs over the lazy dog. All right, I'm going to take the span and I'm going to go in and I'm going to put brown inside that span. And you can see right now, the span's has done nothing. And as things stand at the moment, the text looks like there's nothing has been done. Now we've added an element into that sentence. And what we can do is that I'm actually going to give it an ID. Brown fox. In fact, I'm actually going to add the word fox into the span now that I've done that. So I can now go to my CSS page, and this is, and it's brown fox. And I want color brown. And you can see now that I've using that ID, I've now basically have made brown fox, those words brown, effectively. So that's the purpose of the span, is that where a div is a block element, the span is basically something in line. I'm asking you to use the span 2 different ways. Just go back. Here we go. So basically, I have you put in. Basically, you're literally going to put in. Let's go to the index page. Let me. So literally, you're going to put in hello world, and then span ID equals Unity code block, and take the tag, the ending tag, and put it there. Put another, there we go, just to separate those out. So basically I want us to, so basically you've got another, and so the idea here is that you'll go into the CSS file, and then this is not the assignment, this is going to do color, I'll just do aquamarine. No, that's not showing up. Blue violet. Let's see if there's another. Confour blue. All right, let's talk about Confour blue for a second. That's the Microsoft blue, basically. If you worked with, so when Microsoft brought out their XNA, which basically was a DirectX managed block of code in C Sharp. So you've got games like Bastion was originally made with XNA. Blueberry Garden, which is an IGF winner, was made with XNA. When you ran the game ran your application for the first time, the background of the window rendered a straight cornflower blue color. So that's where this comes from. Yay, Microsoft. I'll just jump to the Crimson because that's going to show up nicely. But this is not what I'm asking you to do. What I ask you to do is basically let's go to font. Oh, I need to put this semicolon. Font, family, and I'm asking you to do like Courier new the monospace, which is we save this. Why didn't you fill that in? There you go. Now you can see that this is now looking like it's just came out of Visual Studio. And that's the purpose here. Let's go back to the assignment. Basically, I have a paragraph tag with an ID of a movie quote. Go find your favorite movie quote and add the text here. This is for you to troll me with, as usual. I'll tell you right now, if films that are really quotable, Army of Darkness, Six String Samurai. I'm trying to think who else. Those are two of the most quotable films I know of.
Oh, no.
What's another one?
2.
What's that?
Terminator 2.
Terminator 2.
Oh,
No, Terminator has a few. It's a few quotes. It's not no. Both Army of Darkness and Six String Samurai are extremely quotable. Both are extremely quotable. If you don't know what those films are, go watch the trailers. One is Bruce Campbell. Army of Darkness is a Bruce Campbell film in the Evil Dead franchise. So, do you have a quotable film?
I was thinking The Big Lebowski.
Yes, Big Lebowski, extremely.
Also, Maggie's
Yes.
Bathroom. Is that quote from the movie?
Go. I don't want puddle on the floor. Yeah, Big Lebowski, extremely quotable as well.
Monty Python, Holy Grail.
Any Monty Python is extremely quotable. Yeah. I mean, yes, Holy Grail, but anything Monty Python is quotable. Yeah. So like Life of Brian to a certain extent, any of the TV shows the TV show they created, yeah. So they're just quotable in general.
The Simpsons?
The Simpsons to a certain extent. Not Simpsons are quotable. We're looking for the next level of quotable. Yeah. Again, Monty Python. The problem with Simpsons is that they've got so much content. Their quotes, the things that are quotable, show up occasionally, as opposed to we're looking for the concentrated quotables. Yeah. Anyways, moving on. Moving on to page 2. Again, I've talked about adding a link back to the index, setting in another. So these 3 pieces are one element, essentially. What I'm asking you to do is to create basically an old school RPG table. And when you look at it, what the old school RPG table is, basically you had a header. So I have a div bit element that's basically going to be it's going to hold basically everything. Inside, you're going to use the header 3 tag, and just basically you're going to create a table that is powers of 2. And literally the text is power of 2. Again, this is inside the div this div element, and then you're going to create an unordered list of the powers of 2. So literally start with 1, go up to 128. So 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. If you want to go more, do 5, 12, and 10, 24, go right ahead. But the idea is you're going to alternating between two class IDs. One ID is basically going to be line A, and the other one's will be line B. The div element has a class of RPG table. So in here, H3 has a font color blue. I've told you about the ID, the ID for the Unity block. The movie quote basically set the font to Arial, the style italics, give the font size 75, give a color green, and then give a border green color in dashes. The class RPG table has a solid black line border around this element. And again, padding and margins play with as you see fit. Then class A has black text and a white background. And class line B has black text and a light blue background. Cornflower blue is a good color for this purpose. So again, let's just jump into page 2 just for a moment. I'm just going to do this. So basically what I'm asking is a UL and then LI. I'm just going to copy this. Let's do two. I'll just do 2, 4, 8. So I'll do a little bit of the table. And then I'm going to do class is equal to line A. I can go in and I can. Okay, I'm just going to copy this line altogether. There we go. So these are going to be B's. Again, we can then go into the style sheet and basically be like, hey, line A. B. Background color. I'm actually going to go and use beige just so that this will help show what I'm doing. I'll actually use cornflower blue. That's not. Let's see if there's a. Here are the darks. Here we go. Deep blue sky is a better color for that purpose. You don't, I mean, you can go and do, I mean, I've done deep sky blue. I mean, you could just do RG, red, green, blue. 0, 0, 128. Oh, I need this light, so I need these at, I'll do 64. And don't forget to put these in. So again, you can go and set the color yourself, or, and that's gonna, yeah, I may actually change the line A to be. Anyways, this is giving us our RPG table look that the old school, you know, basically an old school D&D table is what I'm going for. So, have fun playing with this, setting this up. Are there any questions? Any questions about the assignment?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Can you go over again the difference between a class and a ID?
Okay. So if you have multiple things that are going to be styled the same way, it's a class. If you have a singular element that you want to style, it's an ID. And you could only use an ID. Basically, an ID can only really be used once on. In theory, you can use the ID multiple times. You really shouldn't. That's basically the idea. Is that that this is a unique element on your HTML page. If it's going to be like line A, line B are classes because I'm going to use them over multiple times.
But you still have to input.
You still have to, yeah, you have to. So for line, if we go back to page 2, I mean, I basically assign class is equal to that. Whereas on the index page, I mean, this right here, I'm going to just grab so we can compare it. There we go. Put some more in. Okay, so if you look right here, this span has the code, that Unity code that I've put in, has the ID Unity code block. Now that's a weak ID. Like I probably should give it a number and whatnot. It's something that should be unique. And the idea, if you were dealing with like JavaScript, if you were adding something to the page, like let's say you're adding a division or a span, or even or we're looking at a table and you're adding something to the table dynamically. Those things you'd probably add with a unique ID. And then add CSS for those on the fly.
Okay.
That's this is a unique. Again, think IDs as unique as being unique, and classes being a blueprint on what I'm going to use over and over again. You can style CSS. You can style by an element by itself. So, like in the description, I've got an H3 tag that I'm using. And in the assignment, I'm actually asking you to go in and use H3. I'll do. You can see that that's what it's targeting. And now it's yelling about it because I haven't typed anything yet. So let's do background color. Antique white. In fact, antique white is actually would have been a better color for beige, but still. But here you can see that now I've stylized the background of that with that color. So this is to give you again an idea of how to go about doing. And again, you can stylize things by the element. You can stylize things by a class. So multiple elements can have a class, and then you can be very specific with an ID. So a single element will have this ID. The dot in front of a name signifies that is a class, and then there is the hashtag in front of a name. It signifies an ID. You can be very specific. You can be like this element with this class. I don't know if you're at the point where that makes sense to do. Yeah, I mean you can combine you can combine an element with a class. So this element with this. So basically, you're saying any element of this type with this class.
Okay.
So being specific, but you're.
Like if it's like H3 and then
H3 tagged as RPG. Yeah. Let's say it's let me do something else. H2 dot something. Background colors. Actually, let's do. Let's just do black. So what we're saying here, H2 class equals redacted. So you can see that we can do an element and a class together in that particular way. So here is an H2 class. So anytime, again, that's H, and here is the normal H2 class. So he just give you, so you can combine them together. I'm showing this so you can see that in the CSS table. And there's probably a few more rules that I'm not going over, but if you can pick those up pretty quickly if you're looking at a CSS file. Any other questions? Yeah, basically download the zip file. Do what you need to do. Save everything. Rezip it up and give me back the zip file with your work, and that's all I'm asking to do. And I'll be able to see, pretty quickly, based on basically when you look at your HTML file, the two HTML files and the CSS file, and see what you've done. I've done extra things beyond what the scope of the assignment, so don't worry. You have a question?
Do you want us to download Phoenix?
Yeah, go ahead and download Phoenix. Yeah.
This computer or our personal?
You both. If you download Phoenix, make sure you put it in the application project. Don't down. You can, and you actually don't even need to download Phoenix. We go to. Let's go to. So if you go to the website, you can actually let's close this. Actually, that's what I wanted. Refresh. Here we go. So I can open a folder on my. I can open a folder. Let's go to my desktop. Here's the assignment. I can open that up. View the files, and you can see, boom. Here is everything online. Yeah. So here is the index page. So I've just actually saved. So you can actually do this all online with Phoenix Code. I prefer having the desktop application, but you can do this. You can do this. You can do this online if you want to. So, yeah. And pretty much the Phoenix Code application itself is basically it's an HTML5 application. So there's only a few differences. There's like one or two differences between the online version and the PC version, desktop version. For the most part, everything you'll see is it's the same between the two versions. And clean too. I mean, this is why I like what I like about this application. It's super clean. It's effective and clean and straight to the point. The phrase we would use this as is it's lean and mean. Any other questions about the assignment before I stop and just send it off to you? Okay.